Welcome back. It is Wednesday, July 3rd in the MLB. Our 5 best bets are on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. Let's dive into a recap from yesterday. A 1-4 day. Frustrating because we finally got into the positives a few days ago and then we're back into the negative, down 5 units. Let's talk about it. Nerfy Nation is though really the only thing carrying us this season. Nerfy Nation got to wave the flags pretty sweat free. My 2 picks were both losers. White Sox over 1.5 first 5 team total. If you saw how that lost, that was fun. We got a run in the first, and then we had Paul DeYoung throwing out at home as it looked like, I don't know what speed he was running going around third, but it was probably about 1 mile per hour. My grandma could ran faster than that gun out at home. Luis Seal sucks. Royals first 5 money line. Only run the Rays score in the first 5 via wild pitch with Logan. I believe you said that was Singer's first wild pitch of the year, so that's fun. And then parlay of the day did not come through. Just painful all around, and we don't need to go in that. The only positive is after the 1-4 day, I went to bed and I woke up to say a Suzuki blast in the bottom of the ninth, so my Dinger Tuesday play did smack, which we love to see. However, 1-4 on straight bets is not going to cut it. So we're diving back in. It's July 3rd. We got 5 picks. We're going to dive into them in one moment, and we're going to go back to things that have made us money this year. We got some hit parlays, and we got some base props, and we'll talk about those in a moment. But without further ado, it is our hit parlay of the day. It's on Odds Checker, top link in description and pinned comment. I'll let you know one leg. Stephen Kwan will be returning. He wrecked us yesterday. Every time we go back to Quan, he delivers. And so we're going to be going back to him today. I don't care who the heck he's facing. Be Eric Fetty. He's coming through. I think he has good splits for Fetty. So definitely check out the bottom, top link in the description and top link in pinned comment. You can find out our hit parlay of the day. Find out who we're pairing up with Stephen Kwan to get a hit. And it's smacking. However, I will dive into my favorite picks of the day. I got 3 of them. Logan's got 1, and then we'll wrap things up. Maybe talk about some leans at the end of the video. One of my favorite plays of the day is a base prop. Like I said, we've had pretty good success on base props recently. The last 2 that I've taken, Devers and Blackman, both hit homers. Let's see if this guy can do it. Carlos Correa, over 1.5 bases, plus 100 on DraftKings. Love getting plus money on a base prop. I'll give you a hint. I got another base prop in this video that's plus 145. But stay tuned for that because I like Carlos Correa. Now, you look at Correa, he's been red hot recently. Last 30 days, so since the start of June, batting 388. He is hitting 313 on the against right-handed pitchers. Now, originally he was supposed to face Jack Flaherty. It appears they are skipping his turn in rotation. If for some reason Flaherty comes in and starts, good, because I've done my analysis assuming Flaherty was starting. It appears to be Kaider Montero. I won't lie to you, don't know a lot about this guy, but I do believe he's a righty. And honestly, I'm not really too concerned about him. I don't expect him to go too far into this game. And Correa's last 11 home games, hitting 467. 21 hits, 6 of them for extra bases. Hit a home run yesterday. Also had 3 hit balls over 100 miles per hour off the bat. So it seems like he's hitting the ball pretty hard, and sometimes that's what it's going to take to get that extra base hit. Could it be a home run? Sure, potentially. And like I said, I expected Flaherty to be out there. If he is out there, cool. He has a very low walk rate, but at the same time, you look at Montero, only throwing 2 main pitches, 44% four seam, 35% slider. Correa versus those pitches, 339 and 380 batting average versus those 2 from righties with a 50% or higher hard hit percentage. So I love this spot for Carlos Correa to stay hot. I think he gets us 2+ bases today. Maybe even hits a home run, which would be electric. Carlos Correa, I'm your number 1 fan tonight. But Logan, I heard you got a base prop for the kids out there. Who are you rolling with tonight?
I'm throwing it back to last season when we were in a sort of similar spot. We had a bad June. We needed to really turn things around. And if you guys remember, if you've been with us this long, you remember the exact prop that turned our whole season around last year. Trey Turner, over 1.5 bases, minus 115 odds on DraftKings is your best value. Trey is my favorite baseball player in the entire league. I love Trey. He was an absolute wagon for us last season because I just found when he was getting hot and I hit him at the right time. Pause. But, I mean, if you look at Trey Turner, he's coming off a 3-for-5 game with 2 home runs yesterday. I mean, ultimate, seeing the ball well spot. In his career, too. Trey Turner hitting 319 at Wrigley Field. I look at the dimensions of Wrigley Field, and I really think this is a ballpark where Trey should have a lot of success in. Why? Because sometimes you get favorable conditions, obviously, if the wind blowing out, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of dimensions in this ballpark where things can go right through the gap or down the line for an extra base hit. Trey also seeing the ball well right now. He has 4 2+ hit games in his last 6 games. I mean, that's a great hit right there. Trey is actually a really good hitter in the fact that he can get this done through 1 extra base hit, or we've seen several times him do it with 2 hits, a couple singles, infield singles. He is very fast. I can never rule it out if he does get let's just say single in his first at bat and we need another hit. Trey is a good enough hitter to get that done. On the season, Trey hitting 338. Obviously, we know how good the numbers are for a guy like him, and he faces the lefty Shota Imanaga today. Now Imanaga, a guy I've backed before. It was very sweaty last time I backed him, but he's a fly ball pitcher that rarely walks people. He rarely has more than one walk in a lot of his starts. So the recipe for success is certainly there for Trey Turner today. Last month, Trey was demolishing lefties. He had 368 against lefties in June. Obviously, it is July, but the carryover will be there for us today. Imanaga throws only 2 pitches, which is why hitters do have success for him, second, third time through the order even, because they figure him out. He's not a hard pitcher to figure out. He throws the four-seamer and the split finger. Trey hitting 267 off the four-seamer with an expected batting average of 298, which we do like to see. The expected numbers are favorable. And he has a hard hit percentage of 45%. Important because against that pitch, you're going to need to hit it for an extra base hit more often than not. Shota Imanaga being a fly ball type pitcher, Trey Turner makes good contact on one. That could go for a home run today. I would not rule that out. Trey's the shortest odds of any hitter to hit a home run for a reason today in Wrigley Field. He's seeing the ball well right now. I mean, what more evidence do you need? Trey also bats in the 2 spot and on the road, which means he will get the full 9 innings of at-bats. Several plate appearances. Even if the Phillies do get some runners on base, maybe they don't convert them, who cares? Trey should be able to get a lot of opportunities. He's just a wagon for us on this channel. He was a wagon for us last July. Let's see if he can get me back on track. And while I see him heating up today, I love Trey Turner and his over bases. But Austin, you got another pick for us. Where are you going for it?
Yeah, I'm actually going to stick in the same game. I like Trey Turner bases. I think he can get the job done. However, I have a pick in the same game, Phillies and Cubs, and it's a play we've taken before. Last week, we took one of these sort of plays, and it cashed. We're doing it again. I'm taking Phillies Cubs, race to 6 runs, neither. Minus 130 on DraftKings. Now, a couple books will have this, like DraftKings will have a race to 6. They have ones for 3, 4, 5, 6. I think they maybe even have 7. You can take that. If you just want a parlay, same game parlay, both team totals under 5.5, you can do that as well. Except if you do that on DraftKings, it comes out to like minus 160. I don't know why the value is different because it's the same exact bet, but what do I know? I don't make the odds on the books. Fanatics also has the same game parlay at minus 130. FanDuel did not have alt team totals, so I have no idea what they're at. Now, we are fading both these two teams. Yesterday, the total in Wrigley was 9.5. Today, we see it drop down to 7.5, partially because I think they expect some decent outings out of the two pitchers. But at the same time, I don't see a lot of runs coming here. The only reason this loss yesterday was because the Phillies put up 6, and that required 2 Trey Turner home runs. If you think Trey hits 2 home runs today with Logan on his bases, yeah, good one. That ain't no shot. But just joking around, I really just think this is a good spot to fade a Phillies offense. I think the Phillies could score some runs today. I just don't see them scoring 6. Let's talk about them. 2 pitchers. Zach Wheeler, you look at him, he's been dominant this year, 2.7 ERA, 0.98 whip. The Cubs have struggled. They had the lowest batting average with runners in scoring position in June. I don't see it get much better. Wheeler's been great with runners in scoring position. So I think he can hold down the Cubs offense. On the other side, we've Shota Imanaga. Logan touched on him a little bit. Imanaga's been pretty good. He is a fly ball pitcher, so sometimes he can get into some trouble, but Imanaga's been really good, and it's not necessarily the first or second time through the order. First time through the order, allowing a 171 batting average. Second time, 228. It is that third time, where he is allowing a 373 batting average. That's not good. And if you maybe see him go, the first 2 times through the order pretty clean, you can definitely live bet the Phillies to potentially score in the 5th or 6th inning. And maybe that's where Trey Turner gets his extra base hit. I'll allow it. I'll allow both of these 2 to cash, but same time, Phillies have not faced a lot of lefties since they saw Harper and Schwarber go down, who both should still remain out today. They've only really faced, I believe, Trevor Rogers, who they all have a lot of good history against. A guy like Imanaga, never seen him. And when you got a lefty on the mound, it's not the normal Stott and Marsh coming in the lineup. We might see them switching things around, which could mess with guys' chemistry or, momentum, or just, what time you're getting up on at the plate. Could mess up with it because you're going to see maybe Sosa, Merrifield. You're going to see maybe Marchand. You're going to see Rojas, Pache, all these guys in the lineup. And honestly, I don't fear any of those guys. Marsh and Stott have been really good for the Phillies. Those guys, you never know what you're getting. You could easily get 0 for 4 from all those guys. So I think that they'll be able to get Show to hold it down. The Phillies bullpen, when Zach Wheeler comes out, they're 5th in ERA. Cubs has been a little shaky. Yesterday didn't really use any high leverage arms. I think they'll be able to hold it down. If we lose this because Hector Neris, whatever, sells it in the 9th inning, I'll probably throw something, but I really like both this one to be a lower scoring game. I would take the regular under at like 7.5 or 8. However, I feel like this has a lot more ways to cash. The only way the 7.5 under cashes and this doesn't, if it's a 6-0 or 6-1 type game. So at the same time, I think this is a little safer if it's 5-4 or 5-3. The under loses, but we still win. It could be sweaty, but I really like this Phillies Cubs race to 6. Neither in that option. And then finally, our fifth play of the day will be another base prop. And it's a guy I really like. Like I said, teased at the beginning of the video. Pretty good odds. Jarren Duran of the Boston Red Sox over 1.5 bases plus 145 on Bet365. Duran hopefully can return about 1.5 units for us. Worth noting, if you're on FanDuel, don't even bother taking the base prop because it's like minus 110. Why would you take it on FanDuel when you get plus 135, plus 140 on so many other books? That's a huge difference. So definitely line shop. It's important to line shop here. And I like Duran, who has hit a home run in 3 straight games. Yesterday was 0 for 3. Clutched up with his final at bat, hitting a home run in the top of the 8th. Look, let's see if we can hit a 4th home run. Today, he will face another lefty. We got a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Not something I normally target, but he is facing Trevor Rogers, who I just talked about briefly in that Phillies pick. But this season, Rogers is actually allowing a higher batting average to lefties this season. And of the 22 hits he's allowed to lefties, 10 have gone for 2+ bases. And we talked about Duran hitting the ball hard. 3 home runs, 3 straight games. And we see Duran, while he is worse against lefties, batting 262, is 298 versus righties. I still like the matchup. I mean, Rogers is throwing 4 pitches that Duran hits really well. To lefties, he throws these 4 pitches. 29% slider, 26% sinker, 25% four seam, and 20% changeup. So give or take 4 pitches around 25% each. Against those pitches from lefties, Duran, 276, 455, 158, and then 667 versus changeup from lefties. The only pitch he struggled against is the four-seamer from lefties, but that's not a pitch that Rogers is really throwing a ton. And also, he has a higher expected batting average versus that pitch. I think that we'll see him dominate, and I really think he can get the job done. If he wants to wait until he gets to the Marlins bullpen, he can do that too, because the Marlins bullpen sucks, but I really do think that he'll have chances against Rogers, maybe 2 to 3 at-bats, bat and lead off, and then he'll have some chances against the Marlins bullpen too. So I really like Duran bases. So to recap, we got 3 base props. Like I said, we're going to things that have made us money. We had Duran, Correa, and Trey Turner bases. We got Phillies Cubs race to 6, neither. And then we have the parlay of the day, which I will link on the screen in a moment. But Logan, is there anything else that you might have looked at? I know you're doing Trey Turner bases. Any game picks that maybe stuck out to you, maybe a nerfy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a nerfy on the board that I sort of kind of liked. Nationals and Mets. Excuse me. Nationals and Mets looked like a solid look. Christian Scott, Mitchell Parker. I think they could easily get those 6 outs in that one. No surprise yesterday it went under on the hook, right? But I also another money line that I was kind of looking at the slate just now, and I was debating on it. It would be Mariners against the Orioles. I know we can't fade the Orioles, but I can fade Dean Kramer. I think that dude sucks. So I mean those probably would be a few of my leans, but again, I'm just snake bitten right now. To lose the first 5 yesterday, like I did, thanks for absolutely nothing, Royals. I want to stick to one pick and hopefully get a winner there.
I agree with that. There was a couple game picks I did look at. I like the over in Coors, but I am cursed in Coors Field. But I think you'll see some runs. Everyone was on the over yesterday with Dallas Keuchel and Ryan Feltner. And you see how that worked out. So today I could see some runs coming against Colin Ray and Dakota Hudson. 2 guys that I'm not too fond of. But we're going to stick to the picks we already talked about. Like I said, Correa, Duran, Trey Turner, bases, Phillies Cubs race to 6, neither. And then the parlay of the day, which once it is live, I will link it on the screen. I already spoiled one leg. It's Steven Kwan parlayed with another guy. Like I said, go check it out. Top link in pinned comment and description. Let's have a bounce back day. Let's cash some base props. And then I will see you guys back on the 4th of July. And I'll see you guys then. Peace.